Today on CTV News at 5, police respond to a bomb threat at a Cambridge mall. The investigation and concern from shoppers. Plus, cases of Lyme disease on the rise right across Canada. What you need to know and tips to avoid the tick-borne illness. And supporting local and focusing on fresh seasonal produce, highlighting the harvest at Hurley's Country Farm Market. CTV News at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here with us. Quite the shock for shoppers this morning. The Cambridge Centre Mall closed its doors after a bomb threat was reported, prompting police to evacuate the shopping centre. For more, we go to CTV's Karis Mapp, who has been following this investigation for us. Karis, what have you learned from police?
Leanne, police say they received an online report of a bomb threat at the mall, but nothing suspicious was found after completing their search. Around 9 this morning, police say mall staff called in saying they received the report of the bomb threat online. Officers arrived at Cambridge Centre around 9:45. Five police cars were seen parked in front of the mall's main entrance. Witnesses say they were evacuated shortly after, but weren't given much information at the time as to what was going on.
There's no ambulances here, there's no bomb squad, they're not forcing us to stay away from the building. So it's kind of like you're not sure what's going on, but it doesn't feel serious, but it doesn't feel not serious if they've cleared an entire building.
People were allowed back in the mall shortly before noon. As I mentioned, police say they were investigating a report of a bomb threat at the mall, but it was not credible. Coming up at 6, I'll hear from an employee at the shopping center. Leanne.
Okay, Karis, thanks for that. CTV's Karis Mapp joining us live this hour. Provincial police are on the hunt for 4 suspects in connection to an arson investigation at a Brant County business. They say it happened early Tuesday morning in an industrial area. We go to CTV's Tony Grace live in studio for a closer look at this and some other stories our news team is working on. Hi, Tony. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Leanne. Thank you. Yes, it was around 2 a.m. on Tuesday when police say 4 people wearing masks set fire to the building. Video footage shared with CTV News shows people walking up to the scene carrying jerry cans and glass bottles. Police say they threw Molotov cocktails, scorching the front door and nearby windows. And police also say they believe this was targeted. But one employee who didn't want to be identified over safety concerns says he doesn't know why.
We're not sure at all. It could be intentional. It could be they're trying to break in to steal something. We're not sure at all, what's the intention behind it, who's trying to do it. So we're just seeking help at this point from the police to be able to get some answers because it's scary.
CTV's Alexandra Hollick will join us with more details at 6. Also coming up, Wilmot being considered for a multi-billion-dollar AI data center. Q-Scale out of Quebec is looking at several expansion opportunities in Ontario, and they tell us Wilmot is one place they're considering. Now, all of this, of course, coming as the region tries to assemble 770 acres of land in Wilmot for development. But the region says it doesn't have any specific business planned for that land. Meanwhile, some of the people who've been fighting development on the farmland say they don't think a data center would make sense.
We don't have the electricity, we don't have the water, we don't have the cooling. There are better sites and better locations closer to the infrastructure that's going to be needed because there is so little of the needed infrastructure in this location.
CTV's Colton Weens is following this story for us. We'll have more coming up at 6. For now, Leanne, I'll send it back over to you.
Tony, thanks very much. And Alex is here as we turn to the forecast. It's a short week. I feel like the days are all mixed up here for me, but it is Thursday, and Thursday. A beautiful Thursday in Waterloo region.
Yeah, and even just seeing that local smoke, we are still seeing that in the air, but not to the extreme levels or what we saw over the weekend or earlier in the week, which is pretty nice to see. But it was a hot one. It felt more humid than what we're actually seeing when we look at the Humidex. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, but right now, mainly clear conditions. We are seeing a few clouds in southern and southwestern Ontario. That sun, is peeking through here in Kitchener, just outside of our studio this hour. So right now we're sitting at a pretty warm 28 here in KW, 27 in Mount Forest. If you're by the water, Goderich also at 28, and with that Humidex, feeling more like 31 or 30 again if you're in Mount Forest. So we're not seeing that extreme humidity, but it's definitely feeling like a hot one out there today. And as we take a live look from Glasgow Street in Waterloo this hour, still a nice breeze, which is good to see. Similar conditions that we saw yesterday, but we could be in for some active weather before the weekend. We're going to break that all down a little bit later.
Okay, hopefully that active weather is not too soon, because Kitchener Blues Fest officially kicking off this evening with a fundraising concert. The event runs through to August 10th with plenty of free performances to enjoy in downtown Kitchener. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
Pop star Justin Timberlake is the latest celebrity to announce he's been battling Lyme disease. But experts say cases of the tick-borne illness are on the rise in Canada, too. Let's discuss with Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum, the Associate Medical Officer of Health in Wellington, Dufferin and Guelph. Dr. Tenenbaum, thanks for your time, as always.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we're hearing cases of Lyme disease are on the rise in Canada. Are you seeing more cases here in Southern Ontario as well, with kind of the warmer summers we've been seeing and more ticks being found in the area?
We are seeing more. In fact, just over the past 3 or 4 years, we've seen the number of cases roughly double. I know we had 20 cases last year, which may not sound like a lot, but prior to 2020, we were seeing fewer than 10 in a given year. So we are seeing more cases being reported to us. Part of that probably reflects the expanded areas of the province and our area and our community where these ticks that carry Lyme disease are active, but probably also reflects increased recognition. The fact people are more aware now about the fact that Lyme disease exists and are more likely to go see their physician, seek care and treatment, and have those cases known to us through that process.
I've heard that in some cases, people come out with their story and kind of say that it's been hard for the doctors to detect that it's Lyme disease that they've been diagnosed with. So if someone is maybe concerned that their symptoms could be that of Lyme disease, what are some things they can watch out for?
So the key thing is that Lyme disease is transmitted by a tick. A tick has to bite you to get Lyme disease. So if you've never been exposed to a tick, you can't have Lyme disease. However, if you are bitten by a particular kind of tick and it's carrying the bacteria that causes Lyme disease, what you'd expect is that some days after that bite, you might begin to develop a rash. The classic appearance of that rash is kind of a bullseye shape at the spot where the tick bit you. You know, that's the classic way it looks, and obviously people can have different experiences, and it often isn't classic or may even go unnoticed entirely. That rash will go away over time, and what might happen later on is that you begin having other seemingly unrelated symptoms involving problems with your nervous system, problems with impacting like your cognitive function. You might feel fevers, muscle aches, muscle stiffness, things like that. And those are not very specific symptoms for Lyme disease, which can make it challenging to diagnose.
Let's talk about treatment options as well. And just curious too, how important is it to treat the disease early on?
So it is important to treat, and the earlier that it's treated, the better. I mean, if it's caught early in that phase when it has that rash, it is actually relatively, well treated by a typical course of antibiotics. There are a couple different options that doctors can use, and there's well-established guidance for that. We do know that the kind of bacteria that causes Lyme disease does respond well to antibiotics, so it is a treatable condition. The challenge is if it's not recognized early and people go on to develop more advanced symptoms, it's still treatable, but it becomes more challenging.
What are some prevention tips you might have for people? I know we've talked about avoiding ticks before in the past, so prevention tips when it comes to tick bites and also to protecting yourself from getting that infection.
So again, tick bites are the most important thing to prevent. If you don't have a tick bite, you can't get Lyme disease. So ways to avoid that are, wearing insect repellent when you're outdoors, being mindful of if you are hiking in big, brushy areas where you're, likely to be in contact with bushes and trees and things like that. Trying to keep the center of trails to reduce the contact you have with those parts of vegetation. As well, if you cover up your arms and legs, that reduces chances for tick ticks to get on you. When you're done a hike or done one of these excursions, checking yourself and those you're hiking with for ticks is helpful. The key thing to think about with ticks is that they are out there in our community. However, a tick just sitting on you is not enough to transmit it. In fact, a tick has to bite you and stay attached for, we think, at least 24 hours before there's a meaningful risk of you getting Lyme disease. So if you avoid a tick getting on you, or you're able to remove a tick that is on you within 24 hours, your risk of getting Lyme disease is very, very low.
Okay, it's super important information, especially this time of year. I know a lot of people are spending time out hiking, camping, and just taking in the outdoors. Dr. Tenenbaum, thanks for the advice. Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum is the Associate Medical Officer of Health in Wellington, Dufferin, Guelph. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And here's what you need to know. Support the Kitchener, Waterloo, Stratford, Perth Humane Society and grab your tickets to the Meow Mosa fundraiser. $80 a person or $600 for a table. The event goes Saturday from 10 to 1 at the Hampton Inn and Suites, St. Jacobs. Stay with us. We'll be back.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Okay, pretty nice weather out there once again today. We've been talking about a little bit of smoke, a little bit of haze. It's settling, you can tell outside, but we're still seeing a little bit of that hazy sky.
Yeah, even with our air quality. So we're setting at about a 4 today, so kind of at that moderate lower risk, which is nice to see. But yeah, we're definitely still noticing it. And if you have been spending a significant time outdoors, you might notice a little bit of haze. We can still see it in the skies. We take a live look from Glasgow Street in the city of Waterloo. A bit of cloud cover mixed in as well. That sun trying to peek through the clouds out there this hour. And overall, though, pretty nice day. Felt quite hot. Maybe it felt more humid, even though that humidex isn't quite making a big difference. We are in that 30 range, but still a pretty warm day, and hopefully you had a chance to enjoy, because as we look ahead to tomorrow, there is a chance for a bit of active weather, which we'll get into in just a moment. So some cloud cover for us here in Waterloo region and much of southern and southwestern Ontario, also seeing similar conditions as we get into the afternoon and to the evening. So it's not until tomorrow morning when we could see that first chance for a little bit of scattered shower activity more to the north of us, and then here. So about 5 o'clock or so, potentially even around 4 is when we could see that risk of a thunderstorm come into play. So for Waterloo region in particular, 60% chance of showers we're seeing at this point. Again, that risk of a thunderstorm isn't expected to come into play until the afternoon hours, so we're going to keep a closer eye on that. If you're going to be headed to cottage country up north, you could see some heavier showers from time to time as well. So once that does pass, as we get into the overnight Saturday, your weekend overall looking pretty nice. Mix of sun and cloud for many of you. If not, you might be enjoying plenty of sunshine depending on where you are. So 28 for us here in Kitchener-Waterloo. That was our high today. We hit that this afternoon. 27 in Goderich, 28 in Sarnia, and with that humidex for us in KW, for example, it's only feeling more like 31, so we're not seeing that extreme humidity today. Feels more like 31 in Hamilton as well as the city of London this hour. So just above normal for this time of year. Record low was 6. That was set in 1948, and on this day in 1918, we hit a record high of 38 degrees, feeling even warmer with that humidex then. That sun now rising shortly before 6:20 in the morning and setting 7 minutes past 8:30. So 8:37 is when that sun is officially setting now. So overnight, mainly clear conditions, 16 degrees expected. So a nice evening overall if maybe you want to get out for a walk with the dog tonight. But tomorrow, so that's chance of showers, 60% chance of showers is what we're seeing. Earlier, it was sitting at about a 30, so that has increased a little bit. Mix of sun and cloud for most of the day, but that thunderstorm risk expected to go into play by the afternoon with that humidex feeling more like 36 tomorrow, so slightly more humid. But looking ahead at your weekend, conditions not too bad. Mix of sun and cloud expected for your Saturday, and then Sunday, nice sunny skies, and we should be sitting around the 30-degree mark. Okay, so when we enjoy summer-like conditions, we're also enjoying plenty of fresh Ontario produce. We took a trip to Hurley's Market to check out what they had earlier today. Well, summer is in full swing, and so are seasonal fruits. We are here at Hurley's Country Farm Market with James Hurley to talk about what is in season, what you can look forward to as we get into August. Thank you so much for your time.
A pleasure.
So I know a big popular one of my favorites, peaches, Ontario peaches in season. What else is, I guess, really popular right now? What is in season people can enjoy?
Well, we're sort of in the heart of Ontario produce. Like, we've got great peaches, we've got sweet corn, tomatoes, watermelon, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. The list is pretty long right now. Very much, quite a bit longer than it is in a month or two. But right now we're just so much good stuff. We don't have enough meals in the day to be able to eat it all.
Right, we can only bake and cook with it as many times.
Yeah.
We were chatting a little bit earlier too how, maybe earlier in the season it would have just been strawberries, but really August is a great time to kind of diversify too.
So it starts with strawberries and asparagus are sort of the first two field crops that are coming out in Ontario. But then once we get to this time of the year, there's so many great crops and so many things you can do with it, right? We can, and especially as we look about trying to, how can we take this short season and how can we save that? We can put those beans in the freezer, and they're just as nutritious in January as they are right now. So there are ways of trying to use some of that local crop and extend that into the winter months.
What are you and your team harvesting right now too, as I don't want to say get to the end of summer because there's still plenty of summertime left, but what's happening in the fields right now?
So we are picking peas, beans, and sweet corn here on our farm.
Perfect. So yeah, definitely lots to look forward to. And finally, when we look at supporting local, obviously a very popular local spot here at Hurley's, but how important is it to you as a business owner to being local in the community, having, neighbors coming pretty much, if not every day, weekly?
You know what? It's been a really positive experience so far this year, where there's been a renewed push and focus on local and where our food comes from. And we have a lot of discussion around food and farmland in our area, in our region. But really, when it comes down to it, if we care about that, we need to support the local community. And we feel very supported. Ontario is definitely seeing an uptick in how people are shopping there. They're picking their spots as to where they shop and what their products are, and definitely a focus on Ontario, which is easy to do in August.
Oh, very easy to do. Okay, really quickly, one very difficult question. If you could pick anything, what is your favorite seasonal fruit or vegetable right now?
Well, I'm going to pick two because it's peaches and blueberries that go together.
They do?
Yes. Almost every morning, that's my go-to right now is peaches and blueberries because I can, right? And they're here for a short time and then they're gone. So
short time, definitely. Get them while you can. James, thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
Here's what you need to know as we take you to break. The Uptown Waterloo Night Market kicks off at 7 o'clock tonight and runs till 10. Explore Uptown every Thursday at the Waterloo Public Library in the lower parking lot. The Food Bank of Waterloo Region also on site accepting donations. Check it out.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
Three awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
Provincial police are reporting a massive seizure near Simcoe, confiscating more than $50 million worth of illegal cannabis. 16 people are facing more than 30 charges. You can read all the details in the investigation. Our online team has those. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Saying goodbye to parking lot gates in Guelph. It's part of a citywide effort to get commuters in and out of paid lots faster and easier. It comes down to aging gate infrastructure and eliminating barriers, which creates long lines of traffic as people try to enter and exit. Drivers who have a permit can continue to use it, and physical pay stations will still be an option, but there's also a parking management platform called Honk, which will be used to help make the transition easier. At 6, Spencer Turcotte will tell us more about the rollout. Also in Guelph, a group helping the most vulnerable in the community has new facilities at its downtown location. Royal City Mission has created a new accessible shower, washroom, and laundry facilities. People in need will be able to access the services during their drop-in hours. The idea was born in 2022 and made possible after federal funding and community donations.
We've had an accessible washroom upstairs, but it's really hard to get people to the space, which means they have to come and find staff and access the washroom. So now it's located right close for people who have mobility devices can just use that service right there. But we've never had a shower or laundry available.
The new facilities can be found in the dining room area at Royal City Mission headquarters on Quebec Street. A new study suggests kids and young adults who spend too much time staring at screens have a greater chance of developing cardiovascular diseases. Danish researchers tracked the screen and sleep habits of more than 1,000 10 and 18-year-olds. They found those who spent excessive hours in front of electronic devices were at higher risk for health issues such as high blood pressure and high cholesterol, as well as diabetes and insulin resistance. Their analysis found that each additional hour of daily screen time increased the risk of disease. Next, a remarkable sight off the coast of British Columbia. Whale watchers didn't even need to leave the dock to get a great view of a group of orcas putting on a show for hundreds of visitors in Victoria Harbour. The killer whales were in the area for about 20 minutes. Experts say this was a family also known as the Runaways and was with its youngest calf at the time. Wow, what a sight if you were able to catch that. And finally for us, the big book sale in Guelph just a few weeks away, and there is a push to get community members to help fill the shelves. From books to DVDs, CDs, and records, a team of volunteers will work to organize everything. Last year, around 80,000 items were donated, and over the last 17 years, the event has raised $1 million.
The Friends donated $1 million to the Guelph Public Library in 2023, and that money is going directly to support the new Central Library, which is being built on 55 Baker Street.
You can drop off donations until September 12th at library locations right across the city. The sale set to take place from September 25th until the 28th. So plenty of time to still get those donations in. All right, that does it for us. We'll see you back here at 6. Good night.